Welcome back to the journey back in time with Full Metal Jacket. In the previous part, we mentioned the key faces of the squad, such as Joker, Hartman, or Pyle. But a complete picture of war cannot be without the pieces around them. The comrades who fought shoulder to shoulder the cold commanders, or the fleeting character that left an unforgettable haunting. The story about the fate of this classic cast still has pages that have not been turned. Today, let's continue to explore the lives of the next 5 faces who contributed to the brutality and authenticity of this cinematic masterpiece. The first character we must mention is the heart of the film, Matthew Modine as Private Joker, when he took on the role of James T. Joker Davis. Matthew Modine was just 28 years old. In the film, Joker is the embodiment of contradiction. A young man, wearing a peace symbol on his lapel while the words, "Born to Kill," are scrawled across his helmet. With intelligent eyes, a smirk, and constant skepticism, Modine perfectly portrayed the journey of a naive recruit, gradually hardened by the brutal reality of war. He was the audience's eyes leading us through the darkest corners of the human soul. After the resounding success of Full Metal Jacket, Matthew Modine did not choose the path of a blockbuster action star, even though he had turned down the lead role in Top Gun to work with Kubrick. Instead, Modine chose a diverse and profound artistic path. He challenged himself in films like Married, to the mob shortcuts, and the Emmy-nominated and the band played on beyond acting. Modine also showcased his talent as a director with highly acclaimed short films. There were times when his name seemed quieter amidst the noise of Hollywood, but his class as a skilled actor never faded. In recent years, a new generation of audiences has embraced him through his role as the calculating Dr. Brenner in the hit series Stranger Things, or his appearance in Christopher Nolan's blockbuster, Oppenheimer. Interestingly, in contrast to the conflicted and cynical Joker on screen, the real-life Matthew Modine is the model of a warm and faithful man amidst a Hollywood full of fleeting marriages. He has maintained happiness with his wife, Caridad Rivera, for over 40 years. He is a devoted father, an active environmentalist, and maintains a healthy lifestyle. Perhaps this inner balance has allowed him to go the distance with his art today, at the age of 66. Matthew Modine continues to dedicate himself to his craft. His hair may have grayed, but the keen eyes of Private Joker remain a testament to a true artist who always knows how to reinvent himself through the decades. If Joker was the narrator, the soul of the film's first half undoubtedly belonged to R. Lee Ermey as Gunnery Sergeant Hartman. Born in 1944 in Kansas, R. Lee Ermey was a real-life Marine Corps drill instructor who had served in Vietnam. When cast as Gunnery Sergeant Hartman at the age of 43, he didn't need to act. He was the character. His creative insults, commanding presence, and fire-breathing shouts became pop culture icons, earning him a prestigious Golden Globe nomination. Ermey's Hartman was not just a role. It was a seismic event of improvisational acting that few could ever surpass. R. Lee Ermey's career following this defining role was tied to military figures or characters of authority. He became the face for officers and police roles in numerous works, such as Mississippi Burning, C-7N, and voiced the Green Army Men in Toy Story. Although typecast, Ermey never viewed it as a limitation. He embraced it, turning military toughness into comedic charm in TV shows like Mail Call. In real life, Ermey was a family man living simply with his wife Neela for decades and raising 4 children. He dedicated much of his time off-screen to veterans' charities. People often thought a man of steel like him would stand tall forever. However, that heroic journey came to a halt. On the morning of April 15th, 2018, Lee Ermey took his last breath in Santa Monica due to complications from pneumonia at the age of 74. His passing left infinite regret for his comrades and fans. He lived a full life in both the military and the arts, leaving behind a legacy where Sergeant Hartman's shouts will echo forever in cinematic history. Counterbalancing Hartman's brutality was the tragedy of Private Pyle, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. When he took the role of Leonard Gomer Pyle, Lawrence Vincent D'Onofrio was only 28 years old. to transform into the slow, clumsy recruit pushed to the brink of insanity. D'Onofrio agreed to gain nearly 70 pounds, a record at the time. His performance in the final bathroom scene with the blank glaring Kubrick stare became the film's most terrifying nightmare. From a gentle young man to a cold-blooded killing machine, D'Onofrio proved himself a true chameleon from his very first major role, breaking free from Pyle's massive shadow. Vincent D'Onofrio built a brilliant and incredibly diverse career. Audiences would struggle to recognize the etched fat boy from years ago in the form of the villainous Edgar the Bug in Men in Black, or the brilliant sharp detective Robert Gorin in the decade-long run of Law Order Criminal Intent. He never shied away from the most challenging roles, from the crime lord Kingpin in the Marvel Universe to complex internal roles on the theater stage. Vincent is known as an actor's actor, someone who always places art above stardom. Behind the gritty roles, Vincent is a sensitive and profound man. He experienced mental health struggles in his youth, but art and family became his salvation. He lives a peaceful life with his wife and children in Manhattan, far from the gossip. The contrast between a tragic, out-of-control pile-on film and a calm, successful Vincent D'Onofrio in real life is the clearest proof of his talent and resilience. Today at 66, Vincent continues to be a formidable force in cinema, an artist who never stops creating. An indispensable piece of that chaotic war picture was Adam Baldwin as Animal Mother. Adam Baldwin, born in 1962, played Animal Mother at just 25. His character was the naked embodiment of survival instinct and brutality in war. A stoic, massive fighting machine who viewed killing as a way of life, but was also ready to sacrifice himself for his squad. With an M60 machine, gun in hand, and "I am become death" written on his helmet, Baldwin created a weighty anti-hero figure, both terrifying and strangely captivating. After Full Metal Jacket, Adam Baldwin's career became linked with action and sci-fi roles. Thanks to his tall stature and angular face, he became a cult icon as Jane Cobb, the rude but loyal mercenary in the legendary series Firefly and the movie Serenity. He continued to make his mark as John Casey in Chuck and voiced characters in famous games and cartoons like Superman or Halo. Though rarely, the lead Baldwin's presence in any work brought a distinctive coolness that couldn't be mistaken. In real life, Adam Baldwin has a strong personality and is outspoken, sometimes causing controversy with his political views in the heart of Hollywood. However, putting aside the noise, he is a true family man. Married to Ami Julius since 1988 with 3 children, his enduring marriage is a rarity in the entertainment industry. He chooses to live true to himself, much like the bluntness of Animal Mother, but with a heart directed toward family. Today, at 63, Adam Baldwin maintains a steady career, a familiar face beloved by the sci-fi and action fan community. Kevin Major Howard as Rafterman. Born in 1956 in Montreal, Kevin Major Howard played Private First Class Rafterman, the combat photographer always yearning to get into the action. At 31, when filming, Howard brought a performance that was both eager and naive, that of a young soldier wanting to prove himself. His famous line in the film, "While looking at dead bodies, I just want to get in the shit," reflected the chilling innocence of young men swept into the gears of war. Rafterman was the companion, the secondary lens beside Joker, capturing the moments of history. After this defining role, Kevin Major Howard continued to participate in other film projects like Sudden Impact and Death Wish 2, while also branching out into production. However, what people remember him for most later in life was not just his acting, but his kind heart. He dedicated much passion to social activities, especially the Fueled by the Fallen project, to honor and support the children of fallen soldiers. His life seemed to be a compensation for the losses his character Rafterman witnessed on screen, turning the pain of war into practical action in peacetime. He lived a meaningful life, quietly dedicating himself to art and the community. However, the laws of life and death spare no one. The journey of that photographer closed on February 14, 2025. Kevin Major Howard passed away in Las Vegas from natural causes at the age of 69. His departure on Valentine's Day left deep regret, a reminder of the fragility of human life. But the images he left in Full Metal Jacket will remain a part of world cinema memory. Another character representing the command class is Lieutenant Touchdown, played by Edo Ross. Edo Ross, born in 1949 or 1946, according to some sources, brought to the role of Lieutenant Touchdown the ruggedness and decisiveness of a commanding officer directly in combat. Although his screen time was not long, Touchdown's death by a landmine threw the squad into a headless snake situation, forcing Cowboy to take command and leading to the subsequent tragedies. Ross' angular face and cold eyes were perfectly suited for the image of tough men, authority figures, or gangsters. After this role, Ed O. Ross fully utilized his tough guy appearance to become one of Hollywood's most impressive supporting villains. Audiences surely cannot forget the role of Russian drug lord Viktor Rostavili in Red Heat, or the corrupt cops and mobsters in a series of action films in the 80s and 90s like Lethal Weapon and Universal Soldier. Interestingly, although born in the U.S., his ability to mimic accents and his demeanor were so convincing that he was frequently cast as Russian or Eastern European characters, also left a mark on the small screen as Nikolai in the hit series 6 Feet Under. Behind that rugged exterior, Ed O. Ross is a man with a solid artistic foundation, a former Golden Gloves boxing champion in his youth, and a student of acting legends like Stella Adler. He lives a vibrant life moving between New York and Los Angeles, dedicated to both cinema and classical theater. The role of Touchdown was a launching pad, but it was his hard work and talent that kept him firmly in the profession for decades. In his 70s, Ed O. Ross still maintains his signature cool demeanor, a beloved bad guy on screen. Next is Dorian Harewood, who left a strong impression as 8-Ball, the squad's heavy gunner. Born in 1950, Dorian Harewood played 8-Ball at the age of 37. In the film, 8-Ball is the embodiment of the strength and confidence of the black American soldier, always leading the way with a machine gun in hand. However, his fate was a painful tragedy as he became the first victim in the horrific sniper sequence. The image of 8-Ball writhing in the courtyard, used as bait for his comrades, depicted the bone-chilling cruelty of guerrilla warfare, where physical strength becomes hopeless against an invisible gun barrel. In real life, Dorian Harewood is a multi-talented artist with a gifted voice. After Full Metal Jacket, he not only continued acting in films and TV shows, like Sudden Death or Assault on Precinct 13, but also became a renowned voice actor. His deep, powerful voice has breathed life into countless characters in famous cartoons and video games, from Space Jam to Astro Boy. His career spans many fields, from Broadway stages to music, proving he is not just a soldier holding a gun on screen, but a comprehensive artist. Unlike the tragic and lonely end of 8-Ball, Dorian Harewood's life is filled with love. He has had an admirable marriage lasting over 4 decades with Nancy Harewood since 1979. Together they raised 2 children and maintained a warm, private family life. The contrast between an 8-Ball falling in pain on film and a fulfilled Dorian in real life is the happy ending that audiences always wish for. Currently at 75, Dorian Harewood remains a familiar voice, a respected veteran artist in the entertainment industry. It would be a major omission not to mention Tim Colseri as the door gunner, the man who owns one of the most haunting and insane scenes in the film. Tim Colseri, born in 1951, was actually originally recruited to play Gunnery Sergeant Hartman. He prepared for months, memorizing every line but the role. Ultimately went to R. Lee Ermey at the last minute to compensate. Kubrick gave him the role of the helicopter door gunner. Although appearing briefly, Tim Colseri turned his disappointment into a legendary performance. The scene where he fires down on innocent farmers while screaming, "Get some," with a maniacal smile, became a symbol of the absurd brutality of war, a biting satire that Kubrick wanted to convey. Tim Colseri's later career was tied to military roles or characters with strong personalities, partly thanks to the aura from Full Metal Jacket. He appeared in films like Eraser Hypernauts and participated in many fan events. The story of him losing the Hartman role became a famous Hollywood anecdote, proof of the harshness of the acting profession, but also showing the resilience of an artist who knows how to seize even the smallest opportunity to shine. In real life, Tim Colseri is a humorous and open man, completely opposite to the cold-blooded gunner on film. He frequently participates in comedy shows and directs theater. His life is a lesson in perseverance and accepting reality. He did not let the sadness of losing the lead role drown him, but turned a supporting role into something immortal. Today, at 74, Tim Colseri remains an integral part of Full Metal Jacket history, the owner of a classic line that every fan knows by heart. Bruce Boa as the Poge Colonel, the man who had the philosophical dialogue with Joker about the peace symbol. Bruce Boa, born in 1930 in Canada, was a veteran actor with a dignified face, frequently cast as generals or officials. In Full Metal Jacket, he played the colonel who is angry upon seeing Joker wearing a peace button next to the words, "Born to Kill." The conversation about the duality of man, or the Jungian thing between him and Joker, is one of the film's intellectual highlights, exposing the ridiculous contradictions in the ideology of the U.S. military at that time. Before and after this role, Bruce Boa had an illustrious international career. He was famous for the role of the rude American guest in the classic British comedy series Fawlty Towers and General Rekan in the blockbuster Star Wars Episode V, The Empire Strikes Back. He was the type of actor whose face audiences remembered even if they didn't know his name. A man who specialized in supporting roles but always brought weight and reliability to the character. He lived and worked mainly in the UK, dedicating his life to the arts on both sides of the ocean. He lived a full life with acting, leaving his mark on the world's biggest cultural franchises from Star Wars to Kubrick's films. However, the journey of the dignified colonel came to a close. On April 17, 2004, Bruce Boa passed away in Surrey, England after a battle with cancer at the age of 73. His passing was the loss of a golden generation of actors, but his iconic roles will live on, reminding us of a talented artist who quietly dedicated himself until his final days. Arliss Howard, who played Private Cowboy, Joker's close friend and emotional anchor. When joining the film, Arliss Howard was about 33 years old. Cowboy was the model of a pragmatic soldier, someone trying to keep a cool head and feet on the ground amidst the chaos of the battlefield. He was the fragile link between humanity and insanity, the reluctant leader of the squad as the officers fell one by one. Cowboy's death by the ruined wall in Hue, with gasping breath and fading eyes, calling out to his comrades, was one of the most tragic moments, marking the total collapse of order in Joker's mind. Stepping out of Kubrick's battlefield, Arliss Howard built a respectable artistic career. Quiet but incredibly solid. He didn't chase commercial blockbusters, but selected scripts with depth, appearing in critically acclaimed works like Natural Born Killers, The Time Traveler's Wife, Moneyball, and, most recently, Mank. Not stopping at acting, Arliss also asserted his talent as a screenwriter and director. He is respected in the industry for his sharp cinematic mind and ability to transform into diverse roles, from intellectuals to villains. Privately, Arliss Howard has a life that many in Hollywood admire. He has been married to famous actress Deborah Winger since 1996, and together they have built a stable home far from the scrutiny of the media. The composure and maturity of Cowboy in the film seem to reflect Arliss's true character in real life. He is proof that an artist can dedicate himself fully to art while maintaining complete peace for his family. Today, at 71, Arliss Howard is still hard at work in the arts. An older, wiser cowboy still full of passion for his craft.